The Conway Regional Health System pregame show continues now, and it is our roundtable discussion. It's for week 10. It's Conway and Bryant. I think you probably know that as you're watching. Levi and Tim are with me now. And guys, this one's huge, and we'll spend a lot of time talking about it. But before we dive into it officially, let's look back at a convincing victory for Conway over Little Rock Christian. Levi, your thoughts of the win over the Warriors?
Yeah, convincing is the right word, right? It was another just great first half performance, bled a little bit into the second half. Starters played a little bit into that third quarter. Defense did their thing, right? Held them to 10 points. Really, the first team defense held them to 3, so
Yeah.
well under their 12 points per game average they've been giving up. But the most impressive thing to me, I mean, you got to talk about this ground game because um, Wesley Tapp didn't have to throw the ball really all night. He can throw the ball if he needs to, but he sure didn't have to on Friday night because you had Amari Davis and Trey Harris combining for over 300 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. It was just remarkable. And what stands out to me from this game is just how many times they came around the edge, whichever side they were going to, and it always seemed like there were about 3 offensive linemen out in front of Amari Davis and just no white jerseys anywhere. And the receivers were blocking well downfield too. It was just it seemed so easy. And I know it wasn't that easy because Christian's a good program. So what
Yeah.
that tells me is that man, we were just committed to running the ball Friday night and we were able to do it, which is impressive.
Defensively, I thought we were still, again, outstanding. Your point, one touchdown late in the ball game with reserves in. This is the Little Rock Christian team that's used to putting up points, and they do it kind of in a different, balanced fashion, like against what PA does, who threw 70 times a couple of weeks ago. These guys are very balanced. They couldn't run, they couldn't throw. They were trying to throw the small out routes, and they were getting a few yards here and there. And then we shut that down. They couldn't go vertical, and they couldn't run the ball. Hats off to Coach Pankey and the coaching staff for putting together a plan that put our guys in the right position. Uh, the defensive line changes that we roll through have been absolutely remarkable. We've got about 10 to 12 guys that we throw out there, and you can't really tell a difference. That's the thing, that there's no fall off. I love what our defense does week in and week out.
Well, they're going to be a huge part of the story tonight, guys. Let's dive into it. It is Conway, it's Bryant, both teams 9-0, both teams 6-0. It's everything that we have hoped for 2 years in a row since Coach James took over in Conway. It didn't go our way a year ago at our place. What do you think about tonight?
I think when you look at it, to me, there's a lot of areas where we're even with them, which has not been the case in the last 10 years, if you want to just
Right.
be honest about it. But there's areas where I feel like we're even with them. And really, I think on both sides of the line, I feel like we've kind of gotten where we need to be there to stand up against them. So now the other positions, I think there's a lot of areas where Bryant probably has an edge just physically or with speed. But that's kind of been the case all year with teams we've played, where we haven't been the fastest team, very, very often this year, but we've been a better football team than the teams we've faced so far. That's I don't know that that's necessarily going to be the case this Friday night. So when I look at it, I really think, man, the offensive line that can stand up to the opponent's defensive line and win more than they lose, to me, that's going to be the team that's going to have the best chance to win on Friday night. And when I look at it, I'm like, man, I feel like both defensive lines are going to be able to play well, and so it's going to be a battle to watch all night long. And can you win more than you lose on
Yeah.
each snap? That's going to be the key down in the trenches, because that's going to give the other positions time to do what they need to do. And to me, when I look at it, that's where I'm really falling, is like, can we win those battles more than we lose them on Friday night?
For me, it is. I finally come around, and it's on me to get my mentality straight. But this game to me is not about beating Bryant for the first time in I don't even know how long. I've been the one focused on let's beat Bryant, let's beat Bryant. You know what? I don't know. What to me what this is what this feels like is we've narrowed the gap so much, and we're putting ourselves in a position to win this ball game, not because we're trying to do something fancy or not because there are other variables. It's, can we line up and can we do the things in a regular football game and beat these guys? And it's not just Bryant. This is about the number one seed. Now Bryant is in the way. It's not just about beating Bryant. They're just in the way of what we want to do. Can we push them out of the way, get the number one seed? But regardless, we still have a bye the first week of the playoffs. We're going to be at home the next week. If we don't beat them this time, even if we do beat them, I'm guessing we're going to play them again in Little Rock. That's what I really think is going to happen. So tonight is just about doing what we need to do to get the things done, to line up and do right, see where we stand, and then put it together in the championship game.
Guys, this one promises to have an electric atmosphere. Y'all have gotten to know Coach James pretty well over the last couple of years. What do you think he's thinking going into this? He's one of those guys that if he were to tell me this is just another game, I'd believe him because I believe pretty much everything he says. Is that what this is for him? Or is he really able to block out everything as far as his time there goes and bringing a team into that stadium for the first time as a visitor and dressing in that barn that's off there to the side and everything else that goes into being a visitor at Bryant?
Yeah, okay, so last year, right, heading into this game, I would have been on that side of things where I was like, oh, it's just another game. He just, but then hearing him talk about that game and how special it was to him and, the win streak that they had been on and all of that, I don't think there are just another game to him. I think they're all important to him. And he seems like this rough and tumble guy, and he certainly can be. But I think there's like a sentimental side to him that maybe just isn't super obvious. And I mean, he cares about the game of football. He cares about his legacy. He cares about the teams that he's coached and the kids that he's been able to pour into. So no, I don't think this is just another game to him. But I also don't think it's like to Tim's point earlier. This isn't the game, like this isn't the end all be all. And I think more than anything, I hate the term moral victories, and I know like a lot of people don't want to look at it that way, but I think what this team needs more than anything is they need to go in there and have success, and success may not ultimately be winning the game. Like we can go in there and not win and still have success because we need to have success up here. We need to know that we can play these guys and that we can play with them and that we can win and we can beat them. But it doesn't ultimately mean we have to win this game. We've got things ahead, like Tim said, and we need some mental wins up here to know, hey, we can do this. Physically, we're here now, but mentally, we can do this. Yeah. Maybe not this Friday, but there's more ahead.
Yeah, I will tell you that the way he remarked to me, the people that are in Bryant that he's known and loved for years are all still there. The kids that played with Major James, his son, are still playing, and they're all of those folks are still there. So there has to be, and he admitted there's of course there's a pull there, but deep down, he's a football guy, and so that's all fun and well. On Sunday when we call, maybe we'll have brunch together, have a latte, but not Friday night. Friday night, when he steps out, it's about beating you because you're standing in the way of my team and what we're trying to do. So be gone.
All right, guys, it promises to be a great one tonight. Pre-game show will start around 6:30, and we'll have kickoff at 7 on TV tonight in Conway at Conway Corp Channel 5. And online, follow all the action, conwaycorp.com/WC2Go. Conway at Bryant tonight, live.